This month, it's a very, very special month. We are fast approaching Gaura Purnima. And for all of you and anybody who's connected with the Hare Krishnas or any of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is familiar with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's none other than Krishna himself. The understanding is that when Krishna wants to play or have fun and enjoy his devotees, he comes as Krishna. And when he wants to become his own devotee, he comes as Gauranga to experience the mood of the perfect devotee. So he's none other than Krishna himself. And I'm going to hand over the show to our Pandava Senics, Dhruv and Sumedh. And we also have, I'll let them introduce the guest for tonight. And I'll say a little bit if there is a scope. So Dhruv has been attending Bhagavatam classes regularly along with Sumedh. And they're both taking the time to study the scriptures. And there is one wonderful verse that we recently come across that Dhruv has made an attempt to memorize. So he would like to share it with you, and then he can explain what it means. Over to you, Dhruv.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for being present for today's Bhajan Sandhya. So, this verse is in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, verse 32. So I'll just recite the Sanskrit. Krishna Varnam Tushal Krishnam Sangopangastra Parsadam Yagnaya Sankirtan Prayer Yajantihi Sumedh. So the actual meaning of this verse is that in the age of Kali, so this is a translation, in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting, which is Sankirtan. And the Lord himself has come down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a golden complexion. And he is accompanied with his associates, his servants, and his weapons. And he's come here to make the sacrifice and teach everyone Sankirtan. So this is just a verse to teach that we should be chanting, singing holy names of the Lord together as much as possible. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Dhruv. I think the other bit was that the Lord Gauranga, who's none other than Krishna, by his own example, is propagating the congregational chanting of the holy names. And he's saying that people who are intelligent take up to this process, which is the recommended Yuga Dharma for the age we're living in. So with that background and with that set, I would like to invite today's special guest, Gurudas Prabhu. Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol. Sumedh, do you want to just do a quick intro and invite Gurudas Prabhu, and then I'll add a few bits.
So Gurudas Prabhu, although he may be new to the Manchester congregation, he's definitely not new to the process of Krishna consciousness. Personally, I've been attending a lot of the programs that other Pandava Senas are organizing, including the Birmingham and the London groups. And they're doing a fantastic job in their own right, which is amazing. And one of the highlights recently one of the highlights of Gurudas Prabhu's Zooms is where he has a conversation with Sutapa Prabhu. And Birmingham have wonderfully organized how we see these two people, these two devotees, they speak amongst each other and they speak about the topics of devotional service. And you sometimes overhear like day-to-day mundane conversations about, I don't know, cars or whatever's going on in the news or politics. And you might think, oh, that's interesting. But as soon as you hear conversations like these, all the types of conversations will appear extremely boring and useless because they're talking about the process of devotional service, how they've experienced it in their own life, and how they can understand and share that information with others. And it's just so wonderful to hear. Gurudas Prabhu, we're so thankful for you to be here as well today. And so yes, please come on to The bhajans, Prabhuji.
Just a little bit more in Gurudas Prabhu's glorification. He's been a monk for over 10 years, and he's qualified as in the subject matter of genetics. He was a successful salesman earlier on in his life. And 2010 onwards, he had a calling where he's committed himself to promoting the holy name and supporting the devotees. He's traveled extensively with his spiritual master in countries such as South Africa, Europe, India, Australia, and in the UK. He's stayed at the Manor, Scotland, and he's currently serving at the Leicester Temple. He's a wonderful book distributor. He's also a mentor, a Bhakti Yoga teacher, and also a wonderful singer, which we'll find out today. Over to you, Gurudas Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the show.
Hare Krishna, Madhav Kumar Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Sumedh Prabhu, Dhruv Prabhu. Thanks for inviting me. Hare Krishna to all the devotees that have come. Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So let's try to remember Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sound vibration is very easy way to remember the Lord's personality. We'll talk about him. We'll sing about him. First bhajan we'll sing. We have a plan. Let's see how the plan goes. We have a plan to do 3 bhajans. This bhajan is by Narottam Das in his Prarthana book called Gaurangera Duti Pada. I don't know if the devotees have arranged for the words to come up, but I'll sing that. I will ask you to be on mute only for the purpose of there not being so much echo and all the rest, all the great things that come with Zoom. So this is a wonderful bhajan.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for the cue. I think Sumedh will try and bring up the verses for the first one.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Hare Krishna.
Let's do the translation first. I think that would be nice. Devotees know what they're...
Yeah, we can have some volunteer. Anybody who'd like to... Shuma Mataji, would you like to, between you and Aman, would you like to read the translation to the bhajan that's on the screen? Aman, are you there? I can half see you. Just a translation for the bhajan. Haribol.
Looks like
you're still muted.
Maybe they're a bit shy, Prabhuji.
Okay, no problem. That's fine. We can. Anybody else would like to volunteer? Next on my screen is Anil. Anil Prabhu, would you like to read out the
yes,
first 2 verses translation, please? Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anyone who has accepted the 2 lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya can understand the true essence of devotional service. If one is captivated by the pleasing pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, the dirty things in his heart will all become cleansed. One who simply takes the holy name of Gaura Sundara, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, will immediately develop love of God. To such a person, I say, bravo, very nice, excellent. If one appreciates the merciful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and feels ecstasy and sometimes cries, this process will immediately help him to understand the eternal pastimes of Radha Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Maybe you can get someone else next on the screen. Drishti, are you able to read?
Yeah, sure.
Please, the translation to the 3rd and the 4th verse, please. Thank you.
Okay. Simply by understanding that the associates of Lord Gauranga are eternally free from material contamination, one can immediately be promoted to Lord Krishna. If one simply understands that the land of Navadvip is not different from Vrindavan, but he actually lives in Vrindavan. If one says, let me dive deep into the waters of the nectarian ocean of the transcendental loving movement introduced by Lord Caitanya, he immediately becomes one of the confidential devotees of Radha and Krishna. It does not matter whether one is a householder living at home, or a vanaprastha, or a sannyasi living in the forest. If he chants, O Gauranga, and becomes a devotee of Lord Caitanya, then Narottama Das begs to have his association.
Very well. Thank you so much, Drishti. That was nice. Thank you, Anil Prabhu. Over to you, Gurudas Prabhu, for the singing.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namayom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshe Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Gorangera Duti Pada Jaradana Sampara Chetana Bhakati Rasasa Chetana Bhakati Rasasa Gorangera Madhurya Lila Jarakane Pravasila Gorangera Madhura Lila Jarakana Pravasila Hridayoni Mala Velota Hridayoni Mala Velota. Je Gorangera Nama Loy Tara Hoy Prema Doy Je Gorangera Nama Loy Tara Hoy Prema Doy Tare Movi Jai Boli Hari Tare Movi Jai Bola Hari Gorangera Gunate Jure Nitya Lila Tare Sure Gorangaya Gunate Jure Nitya Lila Tare Sure Sejana Pakati Adhikari Sejana Pakati Adhikari. Gorangera Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Kori Mane Gorangera Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Kori Mane Seje Prajen Prasuta Pas Jai Jai Brajendra Sutta Shri Gaura Mandala Bhumi Jai Bhajane Chintamani Shri Gaura Mandala Bhumi Jai Bhajane Chintamani Tara Hoi Praja Bhume Vas Tara Hoi Praja Bhume Vas Gaura Prema Rasa Nave Se Tarange Jeba Dube Gaura Prema Rasa Nave Se Tarange Jeba Dube Shri Radha Madhavantaranga Shri Radha Madhavantaranga Grahe Grahe Be Banete Thake Agoranga Bole Thake Graiba Vanate Thake Agoranga Bole Thake Narotama Mage Tarasanga Narotama Mage Tarasanga Gorangera Duti Pada Jaradana Sampada Gorangera Duti Pada Jaradana Sampada Se Jane Pakati Ratasa Se Jane Bhakti Rasa Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Premanande
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for that, Bhajan. Again, the translation itself was amazing. That the mercy of Lord Gauranga's Patita Pavana is really emphasized there. Did you have any other words that you wanted to say, or some of your like realizations from this bhajan? What you felt touched you the most?
Sure. I wrote a couple of questions also what we can ask from this bhajan. Is why should we accept the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya? If we have a look, for example, right now we're in the blazing fire of material existence, samsara. It's the first thing we sing as devotees whenever or if ever we ever attend Mangalarti, samsara dava, nadalida loka, blazing fire of material existence. And it's such that we have the mind, and the mind has its show going on. If you could put it on a projector, You may not want to show anyone else what's on that projector, but that we have a certain show. And then as we see the show of our own mind, further desires come spring forth. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of a pond, and then foot, a bubble comes from below, some air. What is that? That's the desires. So it's a very vicious cycle. We're in the material world. We have our material mind coming up with its show, and then further desires. So without even seeing any senses, without even seeing any objects, even the mind itself is just unlimited. So there's a verse, I'd like to read this. Thus the mind entraps the living entity in unlimited varieties of desire. And then in Bhagavatam it says, who can get free from this entanglement unless he takes shelter at your lotus feet? So that's the way to break the vicious cycle. There is no other way to break the vicious cycle apart from taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Lord Chaitanya has come to show how to do that. A child needs to be shown how to write. The mother holds its hand, A, B, C. So Lord Chaitanya is showing exactly what to do. Everything's there. It's their yuga. You want to be Krishna conscious and you're in Kali Yuga, then Lord Chaitanya, he's given the exact process. I mean, Lord Chaitanya is for everyone and anyone. Even in spiritual realms, one can get realization of the wonderful glory of Lord Chaitanya, but especially in this age of Kali. Sachi Mata even had a dream, and her Gaurnitai deities were there. Her Krishna Balaram deities were there in the dream. And they were fighting with Gaurnitai, and there was an argument between them. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is fighting Krishna, Lord Nityananda is fighting Balaram, and they win in the end. And they say, no, it's our yuga. Your yuga, it's our yuga. Of course, we know it's the same persons, but they have their reasons for particularly coming. As we know, Lord Chaitanya has his external reasons and internal reasons. External reasons to deliver all the conditioned souls, give them more opportunity for the highest gift, the highest gift of prema, entering into Vrindavan. And then he has his inner reasons of wants to experience what is Srimati Radharani experiencing. So then Lord Chaitanya is also coming like that. And what is the teachings of Lord Chaitanya? The teachings of Lord Chaitanya is chant, and give to others. And so we have two verses I'll just like to highlight, and then I'll pass it back to you. One is, of course, the devotees know, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroravi Sahisuna Amanina Amanadena Ketana Sadahari. Be humble as a straw in the street, tolerant as a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to give full respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name. Ready for this? Drum roll. Constantly. That's the aim. That's the goal. That's the means to actually chant constantly. And to chant constantly, Lord Chaitanya says, have this verse, put it as a garland around your neck, and you're able to do it. The only reason we're not chanting constantly is because either we're not humble or tolerant or devoid of false prestige, not devoid, or offending Vaishnavas or offending people, whatever it may be. But the perfection will be to glorify the Lord all the time. That's what Lord Chaitanya is teaching. And second part, just as important, is a verse from Chaitanya Bhagavat. He gives this instruction to Sri Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. Sona Sona Nityananda, Sona Haridas, Savatra Amagya Koro Ha Prakash, Proti Gare Gare Gya Kore Bike, Polo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Siksha. Oh, hear me, Nityananda, hear me, Haridas. Everywhere you simply spread my order. Okay, this applies to all of us, including me. go from house to house and preach, speak only about Krishna, and worship only Krishna. And just one comment on this. What does it mean for us? Well, in one sense, Srila Prabhupada once says that that's why I set up this International Society for Krishna Conscious. So you can all come together. I've already arranged for you to now talk about Krishna, and you can talk to Krishna. And somehow or other help Srila Prabhupada's movement, which is Lord Chaitanya's movement. Janananda Maharaj gave a nice point that preaching means to assist Srila Prabhupada. That's the first point I wanted to make about this bhajan, but according to time and how we want to play this hour, I'll leave that with you. Any comments you'd like to share, or you'd like to share anything, or devotees?
That was wonderful, Prabhu. I'm just listening to you speak and how everything is linked. This instruction that you just spoke about is also in another bhajan, Nadia Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. And the same instruction, go door to door, talk about Krishna, preach about Krishna, sing his glories, standard instruction. And nice also, you quoted the third verse from Shikshashtakam. The understanding for devotees is that Bhagavad Gita is the graduate study, then Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study, and at the doctorate level, you get to Chaitanya Chaitamrita. And then when you finish the entire Adi, Madhya, Antalila, then at the last chapter is Shikshashtakam prayers. So these 8 verses essentially are the cream of all the Vedic literature we have at our disposal. So as an offering to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we just wanted to sing or recite, really, not sing, just read the 8 verses. And both the Pandava Senics are eager to just recite 4 verses each. And Dhruv can take a lead. We just want to welcome all those devotees who've joined a little late. We are celebrating Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, fast approaching, on our monthly engagement, 3rd Friday of the month, the Bhajan Sandhya, and we have Gurudas Prabhu all the way from Leicester with us. We've just done the first bhajan. We'll get into the second. Before that, we'll just recite the Shikshashtakam prayers and offer the recitation of the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Just before we get up the bhajan, I just thought I'd like to say, Gurudas Prabhu, you very nicely mentioned that how this links in our day-to-day. Sometimes people think, oh, this is all philosophy, it's abstract, it's an abstract concept. How do we link it into our day-to-day life? You said very nicely at the beginning, how can we control the mind? By serving the Supreme Personality of God, who's come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the stage of Kali, he's come with the mood of mercy, he's so merciful. And so I really thought that was a very useful point. Sometimes everyone experiences mind goes here and there, so many problems the mind creates. And so we need to control the mind. And so we can do that through, as you've mentioned, the wonderful process of Krishna consciousness, especially in Kali Yuga, through the Sankirtana movement, the Sankirtana Yajna. So
just one point to add on your points, that the ultimate control of the mind will come from desire. And if we desire the Lord, if we desire to serve the Lord, our mind will be controlled. Sometimes it's a conversation that, is it about the mind and the senses and the object? Maybe we should break the relationship between the senses and the object, so we don't see anything, hear anything. Maybe then we would be controlling mind. There's certainly something to be said about restriction, but ultimately, if we change our desire, because everything is Krishna. Krishna is everything in one sense. So even the materialist, he is always associating also with Krishna, but his relationship with him is of indirect. He's with the mood of, I am the Lord of everything I survey. And he's actually separating, you could say, Sita Mata from Lord Ram, Lakshmi Devi from Vishnu, like the Ravan mentality. And the Vaishnav is allowing this relationship between Vishnu, Lakshmi Devi, is allowing for everything to be used for Krishna. And with that mood, the mind will be controlled. So we're in halfway zone. We want to lord over everything we survey, and we also want to be devotees. More we come to the direction of desiring all the wonderful things of Krishna consciousness with the mood of humility and service, then the mind will be controlled. And then that particular method is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, you're right. So, as you mentioned, that's a whole topic in itself, as you said. Sometimes people think that let's stop doing all these things, and we just focus away from the mind, away from the sense objects, but instead Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was given a way where we can spiritualize all these things and use them in Krishna consciousness. So now, Madhava Kumar Prabhu, as you mentioned, I'll just load up the wonderful Shikshashtakam prayers.
Yeah.
You see my screen?
It's coming up, and then between the two of you, you can take turns. Dhruv, if you want to go first.
Yeah, okay.
So, first verse. Cheto dharpana marjanam palmaha davagani nirvapanam Shreya Kerava Chandrikam Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamita Sadhanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bodha Nija Sarva Shakti Tatra Pita Niyamita Saranena Kala Itadashi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dudevam Idishim Vihajani Nanuraka Trinadapi Sunichena Tirodapi Sunishana Amanina Madanena Kirtanaya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Pachakad Ishakamaye Mama Janmi Janmi Shwe Bhavatad Bhakti Rahetuki Tuhi
Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budho Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya Nayanam Galadashrudharaya Vadanam Gadgadaruddhaya Gira Pulakair Nichitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahena Bhavishyati Yughayitam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravarshyayitam Shunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me Ashlishya Vapadaratam Pinastumam Adarshanan Marmahatam Karotu Va Yata Tata Va Vidadhatu Lampato Mat Prananatastu Sayeva Naparaha.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Thank you very much to you. Those are the most amazing, wonderful summary prayers. The 8 instructions Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself gave directly to all the devotees. It's very nice. Thanks for the recitation. Over to you, Gurudas Prabhu, if you would like to take us into the second bhajan of the night, please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this bhajan is sang by many. It was also sang by Sri Nityananda Prabhu. It says it's quite an anonymous where this actually bhajan, who wrote this bhajan, but as this bhajan is very famous still in Bengal, we'll chant this bhajan. Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga. Let's have translation first. Devotees like to read the translation?
Can you see my screen?
It's not yet.
Try again then. No?
It's coming up now, yeah. And then maybe you can just get some volunteers. Kumar, Govinda Prabhu, would you like to read the first few verses? Or Naman's raised his hand.
Read the
Yeah,
refrain.
Naman.
Refrain
Can I
1 and 2.
read? Yeah.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Naman, can we see you?
Hare Krishna, yeah, oh, I'll put my video on here.
Okay.
So, should I read
Yeah.
from the refrain?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yes.
Worship Lord Gauranga, chant Gauranga, speak about Lord Gauranga only. Those who worships Lord Gauranga is indeed my life and soul. Chanting Gauranga, go out of your arms, raise, dancing and chanting. By chanting Gauranga and worshipping him, one's miseries will end.
Haribol.
Oh,
That was very energetic reading, Naman. Thank you very much.
thank you, Naman.
You've had your dinner, it seems. Haribol. Thank you. Over to you. Gurudas Prabhu.
Bhaja Gauranga, kahe Gauranga, laha Gaurangera, namare, ye jana Gauranga bhaje, se ho hamara pranare. Bhaja Gauranga, kaha Gauranga, laha Gaurangera, namare, ye jana Gauranga bhaje, se ho mara pranare. Gauranga boliya du bahu tuliya, nachiya nachiya beda ore. Gauranga boliya du bahu tuliya, nachiya nachiya beda ore. Gauranga bajile, Gauranga japile, hoy dukhare abasanare. Gauranga bajile, Gauranga japile, hoy dukhera abasanare. Bhaja Gauranga, kahe Gauranga, laha Gaurangera namare. Ye jana Gauranga bhaje, Sena mana pranare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari. Hare Krishna.
Haribol Prabhu. Thank you very much. So would you like to comment on that? Your reasons for selecting key messages, etc.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to devotees. I looked up, so it says worship Gauranga, make your life go centered around Gauranga. I looked in the dictionary actually for other words similar to worship. So just to really get in our minds. So I'm going to read a few words out to you. So every time I say honor, you can then shout next after that Gauranga. Yeah. So we honor,
Gauranga,
praise,
Gauranga,
pray to,
Gauranga,
bow down before,
Gauranga,
glorify,
Gauranga,
be devoted to,
Gauranga,
hold dear to,
Gauranga,
cherish.
Gauranga.
Okay, I think they've already got the idea. So we honor, praise, pray, bow down, glorify, be devoted, hold dear to, treasure, cherish, admire, have a high regard for, look up into or look up to, be wild about, ultimately love Sri Gauranga. So we see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was displaying so many ecstasies in his pastimes. And there's some accounts where Lord Chaitanya was vibrating so much in so much ecstasy, devotees were holding him, and then another few devotees were holding it, and then the devotees right at the edge, they were almost flying off. This was from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would dance up in the air and then come crashing down. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu his limbs would elongate, and then they would go into his body, inconceivable. So there's many reasons why Lord Chaitanya has ultimately come to display all these pastimes, ultimately out of his own desire. But there's one pastime that actually says, it's quite esoteric, but we can share it on this Gaur Punim, that Srimati Radharani says that I know when Krishna goes in my mood, he's going to be so ecstatic and he is going to hit the ground. And I don't want his body to hit the ground. Therefore, I will cover his sham body with myself, with this golden form. So that's a very nice thing. So I was thinking that this verse also says, by chanting Gauranga and worshipping him, one's miseries will end. So it's a quick question here for ourselves, maybe to really think about, do we want our miseries to end? So the answer should be yes, of course, yes. But you may notice there's some conditioning. So our Sat Chit Ananda nature, eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss, we've now ended up in this material world and made our permanent residence here. We may not want to actually leave. We may be finding our happiness here. And it may be the case that, like a bird cage, you open the door and the bird comes out, but then comes back to the same cage. So this is you could call it, it's quite heavy. That's why I say it with my smile on my face, but it can be quite a lamenting, pathetic situation of the conditioned soul. But somehow or other, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. He's got the best medicine. He's the best physician. So he can definitely help us with all our material conditioning. If we think our Maya is big, Lord Chaitanya is bigger. If we think that, oh, how merciful is he? His Rupa Goswami said, he's Namo Mahavadanyaya.
Has he just cut out for me?
I think we've lost him temporarily. Sorry about that, devotees. Let's just give him a couple of seconds.
So many different.
There you go. He's back. Prabhu, we lost you for a couple of seconds.
You lost me, huh?
Yeah, we lost you at Namo Mahavadanya.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, devotees. Somehow, I'm Namo Mahavadanya Krishna Prem Pradayate. That the Goswamis, the Rupa Goswami is praying that you're the most merciful, giving this Krishna Prema for free. So I asked His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj a few years ago. I thought Krishna is the best at everything. Krishna means all attractive. So how can we now say Lord Chaitanya, he's the most merciful? Surely Krishna is the most merciful because he's Krishna. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj says, yes, Krishna is also the most merciful, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he's completely intoxicated. And because he is intoxicated, he is drunk, he's not thinking straight. And because he's not thinking straight, he's just giving everyone anything. All they have to do is one thing, just one place of faith and says, oh, can I have? What can I take? But then you get Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who's following Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order. So here we got we're looking now at the tattva of Guru. The Guru is even more merciful in one sense, that he is actually wanting us to take this mercy of what Lord Chaitanya is freely distributing. So he's going out of his way. So that Sri Nityananda Prabhu he's seeing Jagai and Madai, the most sinful personalities. Of course, when we see Jagai and Madai in plays, they look like comical characters. But Jagai and Madai are actually very, 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 very sinful. Whatever we can come up with, that they did a lot worse. I won't go into it. And Sri Nityananda Prabhu says that these are the ones that I want to see, to show the world that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can deliver them. So Lord Nityananda went out of his way and stopped these personalities and got them to chant. But of course they didn't chant first. And they threw the pot at Lord Nityananda's head. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry. Lord Nityananda begged them, goes, no, we have to, don't take up the weapon. We give the mercy. Your fame will be famous for this. You will be famous for this wonderful act of delivering Jagai and Madai. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them the highest mercy, but he asked them also not to sin again. That was one of the conditions. And then he took all of their karma. And the Vaishnavas noticed Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he turned blackish from all of the sin. And then they thought, wow, he looks like Lord Krishna now. And so I one thing I particularly get from this bhajan is it is very, very possible to think of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the great thing about thinking of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everything becomes easy. And what is the ultimate task to do? The ultimate task is to try to remember Krishna and be engaged in our original constitution. And our original constitution is serving anyway. We're either going to, we're servers, we're servants. If we can serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is the perfection of existence. And there isn't any, it's like, I once asked Jade Vetamaj, doesn't Krishna sound vain in Bhagavad Gita saying, yes, I am the goal, I am the master, worship me. Does he not sound vain? And then His Holiness Jade Vetamaj says, vain would mean that he's not actually worthy of that much worship. But Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, they are worthy of thousands and thousands of heads of the Sesh Nag for eternity. Keep glorifying them. As many glories, as many molecules, atoms there are in this universe, one may able to calculate, but one cannot calculate the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have both. We have Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna. And it's just one more point I really wanted to get across, that it then says that this prediction is there that the holy name will be in every town and village. So then I thought, well, which name is that? So then I
oh no, the suspense.
Wait a couple of seconds, count down.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the name of Lord Krishna, they will be in every town and village, and that's a prediction, and we can help facilitate that also. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Sometimes you explain very nicely the sweet mercy of Lord Gauranga. And sometimes when people first hear this, they think, what on earth is this? How can it be so simple? How can it be so simple? Just chanting and dancing the name of the Lord is the ultimate goal of life. But actually, if one goes and studies all philosophical essences, one goes into deep study of Vedic literature, then one realizes that not only is Lord Krishna the Supreme, but the process of devotional service is the best way of doing it. And then that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioned in those revealed scriptures, like the verse that Dhruv read at the beginning in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a verse in Vishnu in the Vishnu Sahasranama, things like that. There's all sorts of verses that point out that the Lord appears in Kali Yuga, and he appears, as you mentioned, Patita Pavan. It's like mercy on steroids. It's just so much more mercy everywhere. And so this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. And that's simply by dedicating our life to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, sorry, Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you. There's no real qualification needed. It's I've just got this verse I want to share. So from even from the last bhajan, it was saying that it doesn't matter which ashram one is also in. Because the mind has a tendency to always think that I will serve, I will do what's right, but later, right now my circumstance is not good enough. Procrastination. There's a little joke saying how like Kali Yuga was about to come on earth, and then lust came and says, I will help. It says, yes, come on board. Anger came, it goes, come on board. And then procrastination came. It says, I will help. And Kali says, who are you? And he says, exactly. I am so subtle that people won't notice. So this is a danger. Let's burst a couple of bubbles today. I'm bursting my own bubbles as well, bubbles of illusion. That everyone's circumstance is a struggle for material. It's a struggle for existence, the whole material world. The brahmachari also has his issues. The grahastha has his issues, like that. Even if you give an example, for example, a man splits up with a lady. Unfortunate circumstance, family man splits up with a lady. And then the lady says, well, I'm keeping the children. And the man's like, no, not my little pingu and dingu, don't take them. And she goes, no. And then that man's life is collapsing. But then the same scenario could be, the woman says, I am leaving, and here's your kids. Oh no, not just me and dingu and dingu. Yeah, whether one has got the kids, whether one hasn't got the kids, whether one is old, young, life is tough. Now, I want to read this verse by a little quote by Srila Prabhupada, if I can find. So one is first, this two verses. Prabhupada says, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased, then he can give Krishna prema, love of Krishna, to anyone. Doesn't matter what is his qualification. That is the power of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Prabhupada also saying we can serve Lord Chaitanya. So preaching is also independent. If you have got desire, you can preach in any circumstances and Krishna will help you. I have practically experienced, Prabhupada saying, I went to your country without any help, without any money, alone. And gradually things developed. All foreigners. I did not approach any Indian. I did not approach anyone, but Krishna sent friends and gradually developed. I think it's an important point because bhakti is independent. And any situation we're in, we can take to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And Prabhupada once says it's by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy that we will always have customers. So it doesn't matter where you go, how you go. Yeah. And even if you are on the forest in your own or you're going for a walk, there's many living entities. You can chant Hare Krishna and they will also benefit. Of course, Srila Prabhupada, the acharyas, the spiritual masters in our movement, they want us to speak to the human beings. So we can also do that as well. Or we can also facilitate the preachers. But there is no bar. The only bar is the mental platform. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us, like I think you said something, maybe it's a Pandava Sena way of saying, was it ecstasy on steroids or what did you say?
Yeah, mercy on steroids.
Mercy on steroids, yeah. So he can give us this spring and we can come up very, very quick. So we can serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We can get the mercy very quick. And as for what we can see, there's a whole ocean of transcendental nectar to jump in, and we just have to learn to enjoy diving in. And one Prabhupada disciple said to me, it's learn to make Krishna consciousness fun and easy. That's the process.
Thank you very much.
so
Yeah,
much,
that's
Dhruv.
a
That
very
was,
nice point.
Yeah, very
Sorry,
nice.
Madhava, carry on.
No, I was going to say it was meant to be a Bhajan Sandhya night, but we're going into some nice discussions, and I'm enjoying listening to you and your perspective from all the years you've spent in the mission. Dhruv, I just had a quick question, if I may ask, before I let you get into the third bhajan for the night. You know, we spoke about the benefits of chanting the holy name and how Prabhupada did it and how the Lord's merciful. But as practitioners, what should be, why should we be getting into preaching, or how do you approach the concept of preaching? You know, while I'm just primarily concerned about my own benefit, really, and sometimes I'm not even comfortable, you know, pushing or suggesting anyone as to why they should go my way. Do you get me?
Yeah. No, very, very massive point. There's a lot to be said on this. I'm just looking for, it's always nice to start from something from Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Just please bear with me. Okay, this is stuff from Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so let's just open this up a little bit before we go to the next bhajan. And the topic is very simple. Simple as in the point is a simple point, but the most profound point is why to share this Krishna consciousness, why preach, or why assist the movement. So this Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada says, means preaching. It's not like Krishna consciousness is me thinking of Krishna and then that's it. No, Krishna consciousness includes the sharing of Krishna consciousness, and that's the whole philosophy. Even before Caitanya Mahaprabhu is coming on 500 years ago on this planet, even when Krishna is explaining Srimad Bhagavad Gita, there's certain order of importance of all the instructions being given, and he said, "Iti te jnanam," deliberate on this fully, then do what you wish to do. But because you're my dear friend, I'm giving you this great knowledge. Always think of me, become my devotee. Abandon everything, surrender unto me. And anyone who gives this to the devotees, or anyone who preaches to others, they are the most dear to me, and devotional service is guaranteed. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he requires help. Of course, we know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God, but he's wanting some help. He wants the engagement of everyone involved in this Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, he's saying, I've got so many fruits of love of God, but how will I able to distribute them on my own? He actually wants this. And if we just have a look at what does service mean, service means we serve their mood. The mood of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to give Krishna. So we're relieving his anxiety. We're trying to relieve his anxiety. That anxiety has been passed on also. Prabhupada saying that I am also being pushed. They say, oh, Prabhupada, you're pushing me. But Prabhupada says, I'm also being pushed by my spiritual master. He was also getting pushed. There's a big push. There's a big pressure. So for us to also take that pressure on, voluntary inconvenience. Actually, it's joyful, but some voluntary inconvenience. This is the highest form of worship. I was listening to Shivram Maharaj today, and he's saying the highest form of worship is to voluntarily take some inconvenience for the welfare of other souls. And we see that example by Lord Shiva when he drinks the poison to save everyone else and the purpose of that. So anyway, lots of things to be said. I want to read a couple of things from Prabhupada, and Madhav Kumar Prabhu is just very humble and asking me this question, giving me opportunity. But yeah, you all are assisting Prabhupada already. But it's a discussion that's always keep worth reminding ourselves every day, every week. That's the mission. Okay, so let's read a few things. So Prabhupada says, somebody says, oh, why shall I accept Guru? I can approach Krishna directly. No, Krishna does not accept such. First of all, you become devotee of my devotee. Caitanya Mahaprabhu says, Gopi Bhadata Pada Kamalaya Das 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 Anudas. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. This is called Parampara system. You have to learn how to become servant of the servant of Krishna. The more you become lower in position, 7, 7, 7, 700 times 7, the more you are advanced. Here in this material world, everyone is trying to be the master. Just opposite. Spiritual world, the endeavor is to become 7, 7. That is the secret. So what are we serving them with? We're serving them with the mission of their master and their master. And then the ultimate master is Lord Caitanya or Radha Krishna, same person. And Srimati Radharani is so pleased. That's the real best thing you can give Srimati Radharani, the offering. Here is another jiva. If you can bring a jiva to the spiritual world, here is another jiva. Srimati Radharani, the descriptions, well, that's where she's most pleased. They have a whole festival. Okay, this Manjari, this Saki is back. So yeah, it's throughout our whole understanding. But of course, save ourselves, be fully nourished, and preach. But it's not save myself first and then preach. It's synonymous. I'll just read a couple more, then we will have time for another bhajan. So we become Lord Nityananda's dog. So Lord Nityananda, he is the best servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Nityananda is wanting us to share Krishna consciousness as well. Prabhupada says, so better become a dog of Nityananda Prabhu. Then we shall be happy. Instead of becoming dog of so many other people, everyone is dog. Everyone is searching after to serve a master. But none of them are satisfied because that is false master. You take real master, Nityananda Prabhu. You'll be happy. So like we were discussing before, what does it mean then to take shelter of Lord Nityananda? Is it just an esoteric idea? No, it translates to surrender to the actual process, and the process is given. And then Srila Prabhupada, he is the Senapati Bhakta. I'll read this as well. So what does it mean for us when we hear about Lord Chaitanya? It means for us in our ISKCON to assist A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants this. This is also in Chaitanya Mangal. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this. Yadi papi chadi dharma dure dese ya mora senapati bhakta yebe tataya. If some sinful people escape and giving up religious principles go off to far off countries, then my Senapati Bhakta will come at that time to give them Krishna consciousness. So that's a prediction. And I read this many years ago, but there was also a prediction that there will be a Vaishnav. This was 500 years ago, prediction. There will be a Vaishnav who will travel in metal objects, and he will go around the world, and he will present the 10th canto to the Malechas. So basically two predictions there. One is aeroplanes, Srila Prabhupada, and the other one is Krishna book, prediction of Krishna book. So, yes, and one final point, a heavy point. It says, Srila Prabhupada says, when you become advanced in Krishna consciousness, then your natural tendency will be how to preach. So long you do not develop this tendency for preaching, simply remain in Kanistha Adhikari. So we're trying to come to the point of Madhyam Adhikari. Right now, Shivram Maharaj was explaining the transition between Kanistha Adhikari to Madhyam Adhikari is this verse that you read out today, Trinadapi. And when we become humble and tolerant like that, and then Prabhupada explains, humility means accepting a spiritual master. That is humility. And accepting a spiritual master translates to humility to follow his order. and his desire is Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Varita Madha Manasora. He's gladdened by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. So it's a parampara. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Guru. Hari.
And on that note, we can sing this very nice bhajan. Are we ready for that?
Yes.
One of my favorite bhajans, this one.
Yeah. Why is it your favorite?
Because it's the sweetness of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, this is the actual name of this bhajan is Sarvarana Shri Gaura Pada Padme Pratna. We know it generally as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Kora More. Okay, dear devotees, thanks for allowing me again to sing, talk. Let's have one more bhajan then.
Can you do the translation first? Like
Yes, please.
And,
The devotees can do
we can have
translation.
some volunteers. I saw Prashant was on. Would you like to read the translation if it's still on, Prashant?
Can I read?
Yeah, you can read. Go for it.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
My dear Lord Chaitanya, please be merciful to me, because who can be more merciful than your Lordship within these three worlds? Your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls, but I assure you that you will not find a greater fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first. My dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, then I may also become happy. My dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be merciful to me. If you are kind to me, naturally Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me. O Swarup Damodar, a personal secretary of Lord Chaitanya, O six Goswamis, O Sri Rup Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Sri Jeev Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. O Loknath Goswami, my beloved spiritual master, Narottam Das also prays for your mercy. O Srinivas Acharya, successor to the six Goswamis, please be merciful to me. Narottam Das always desires the company of Ramachandra Chakravarti. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Who was that? Dhruv Mom. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Gurudas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More. Toma bina ke thoyalu Jagat samsare. Toma bina ke dayalu Jagat samsare. Patita pavana hetu Davayavatara. Patita pavana hetu Davayavatara. Mosama Patita Prabhu na paibe ara. Mosama Patita Prabhu na paibe ara. Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balakana Koro Ami Bora Dukhi Kripa Balakana Koro Ami Bora Dukhi Doya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Doya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bale Chaitanya Nitai Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Ahaswarup Sanatana Rupa Raguna Ahaswarup Sanatana Rupa Raguna Tata Yuga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokana Tata Yuga Shri Jiva Prabhu Lokana Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Nitai Gaur Premanande
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We have a little time left. Whoops. Hare
You can take
Krishna.
a couple of minutes to share any reflections, Prabhu, on that.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so I had a look at this bhajan. So what will happen to us if we get Lord Chaitanya's mercy? So I think we covered a little bit how to get his mercy. I think we confirmed it was take to the chanting process, take to the process of bhakti, and try to share, assist the servants of the Lord. I think this is an important point also by Srila Prabhupada. I'd like to still with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada, he wrote this one letter. He says, I'm very happy to hear you are very much anxious in helping to start a new temple. Your enthusiasm is very encouraging to me. There is a great need for the spreading of Krishna consciousness, and we need so many enthusiastic boys and girls for carry on this great mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I think it's a nice instruction there to be enthusiastic. So what happens once we've got the mercy? If we do get Lord Chaitanya's mercy, what's going to happen to us? Maybe it's already happening to us. Maybe it's already happened to us. But there's always more and more. First, we will only want to please Krishna. That will be our agenda. Sorry, devotees, if I'm just crashed here once or twice. We will want to wish we had millions of ears. Forget being a millionaire, be millionaires. Millionaires, and then million mouths. We will want to glorify, and we'll want to do whatever to go beyond the call of duty. We will want to really please the Lord. Now, a little bit, so question comes up, is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is anyone more merciful than Lord Chaitanya? We may then say, then this personality is, or is the spiritual master more merciful? It's like a telescope. And all of the acharyas and the Lord, they are the different lens within this telescope. If we have more lens in our telescope, we're not creating more distance from the Lord, we're becoming closer with the Lord. This is the whole Gaudiya telescope. So through the mercy of your spiritual master, mercy of Srila Prabhupada, all the way through Parampara, we're also getting the mercy of Rupa Goswami. We're also getting the mercy of Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivas, and all the devotees. So that's how the mercy is coming through this way, and we're also doing the offering through this way to reach the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So that's our aim. I remember one of my senior devotee friends, he was out doing the book marathon, and he was collecting lots of money and distributing books. And the devotees asked him, "What's your target? What are your target?" And this devotee says, "My target is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet." And devotees left him alone and didn't ask him what his other targets were. So we worried a little bit. I think we are apprehensive about how much shall we get involved with this Hare Krishna movement. If we're already involved, we may say, "Oh, I still need my limits. We've got to have my boundaries." You know, we taught in this day of psychology. We have our personal boundary. Don't let anyone get to us. But one thing is also to understand that we've been used like a toilet rag in this material world for millions of lifetimes. We've had 8,400,000 births to come to this human form. Now let's jump in. We've already got arrested. If you've chanted Hare Krishna, if you have clapped your hands, your fortune has been changed. Now it's like you may have these scenes where someone has been caught shoplifting from a shop, and the police are dragging him in, and he's saying, "Get off me, get off me." But in the end, the police were going to take him in the van. You know, he can make a big show. So we're like that as well. Now that we've chanted Hare Krishna, we've ate some prasadam, we may have helped out a little bit of service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prabhu Nityananda, they're not going to let us go. Krishna's other name is also Achyuta, which is never falls down, and also it also means never fails to recognize even the smallest, slightest service that's being done. Just as Lord Ramachandra was saying to Hanuman that this spider is doing the best he can, and he recognizes that. So Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, they recognize this person has said Hari, this person has done this. So we're going to get arrested anyway. Might as well get in the program and voluntarily get arrested now. And real love is being offered. And I'd like to just conclude on the points because I see time has gone very quick today. Mention of all these Vaishnavas came, and Srila Prabhupada mentions what the essence of this. Prabhupada got a purport on this chapter, on this song, and he says what the essence is and why all these names of the acharyas are mentioned. And Prabhupada says at the end of his purport, the whole process is that we should always pray for the mercy of the superior acharyas. and keep company with pure devotees. Then it will be easier for us to advance in Krishna consciousness and receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna. This is the sum and substance of this song sung by Narottam Das Thakur. So we need acharyas. We have Srila Prabhupada. How has Srila Prabhupada come? Srila Prabhupada has come in the form of all these books and many audio. We're so lucky to have this. For all of us, our main Siksha Guru is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And of course, we don't force devotees that you have to do this much or you have to do this much. But Srila Prabhupada really recommended that please study my books for 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours a daily. And if we're not there yet, at least let's have this in our focus, that is the actual process. To come to this process of chanting 16 rounds minimum. If we're not there quite yet, we can work towards it, but this is the process. 16 rounds, 4 regulated principles, read Srila Prabhupada's books, assist in this wonderful ISKCON, and also take association. We could take association of senior Vaishnavas, respect them, learn from them with our peers, share Krishna consciousness, have friendships, and with juniors be kind. To do Krishna conscious alone is a phantasmagoria. So on that last point, I'd just like to say thanks to all devotees also tolerating me. I know I'm a little bit erratic, and but I'm very, very enthusiastic to be with all of you wonderful Vaishnavas. Wow, I can see Radha Mohan Prabhu here as well.
Hare Krishna. Gurudas Prabhu, before we thank you, we want to just thank every one of the 30 or so devotees who stayed with us throughout the 1.5 hours. We have Radha Mohan Prabhu to make some concluding comments, and just before we hand over to him, just very sincerely thank you, Gurudas Prabhu, for taking the time and singing all those nice bhajans and sharing your reflections from your experience. This is the month of Gaura Purnima. Gauranga Mahaprabhu's birthday is fast approaching. Apart from many wonderful books Prabhupada's given, we also have available and we have access to Gauranga Mahaprabhu's life, his teachings and his pastimes in what is known as the Caitanya Charitamrita. If you're encouraged and motivated to bring the Lord in your homes in his literature form, please reach out to us and we are happy to facilitate. Over to you, Radha Mohan Prabhu. Do you want to make some closing comments? Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Madhava Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. So many gratitude to our dear Gurudas Prabhu. Thank you so much coming over today to give your association in this very wonderful Bhajan Sandhya. This lockdown, we could not go to the temple, but when we lose something, Krishna blesses with something else. So we have been in the good fortune of associating with such a wonderful devotees throughout the last year, and we pray that it continues more and more. Thank you very much, Gurudas Prabhu, for your very sweet description of spiritual life and singing of the wonderful bhajans, 3 bhajans that you sang today. Thank you so much. So I'll be just doing a little job for Gaurantras Prabhu. He asked me to do a few announcements. As we all know, Gaur Purnima is coming very fast. The Gaur Purnima, it is the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is this year it is on 28th of March, which is the coming Sunday, and we have an online festival for that one. The festival is in 2 parts. We have one festival in the morning, the more full Mangalarti program, morning program, and then in the evening we have the program starting from 5 o'clock. The detailed schedule of this program, I'm sure you must have received by the WhatsApp or the email messages. If not, then either let me know or Madhava Kumar Prabhu know if you haven't received the information about it, so we can put you into the right WhatsApp group. So just to give you brief details about the program, it's an online program, but we'll try to make it as interactive as possible. So there will be class, kirtan, of course, Abhishek of the Lordships. And the interaction wise, we'll have a DT Darshan program as well. So in the house, if you have a Gaura DT worship going on in your house, if you have Gaura DTs, then you can decorate it very nicely, and you can show that DTs as a darshan during the program. And also, if you have children in the house, and if children would like to speak something about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, or if they want to do some shloka recitation, or if they want to show the Gaura pictures, then also we can guide you, and you can also help them to participate in this program. And also, if you want to have a prasadam delivered to you, there are two ways you can get prasadam. One is that you can give us your address and we'll post it to you. The last date of registration is tomorrow evening. Sorry, not tomorrow evening, this Monday evening. So the prasadam will reach you sufficiently in time for Gaur Purnima. Alternatively, on the day of Gaur Purnima, which is 28th of March, you can come to the temple between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you can come and pick up your prasadam packet from the temple. Temple will not be open, but you can still get a consolation visit to the temple. We've been away from the temple for a long time now, nearly a year, but this way we can still go to the temple and get the ambience or the feel of the temple. So we can say, as I've been to the temple, don't know its side, but you can still go to the temple and get the feel of the temple and can collect the prasadam from the temple. So either you want to receive prasadam by post or by collecting from the temple, or you want to participate in children's program, or if you want to give your DT darshan, we need to know that you want to take part in. So for that, we have developed a Google form. So in the form, you can register yourself and give us the detail which program you want to be part of. You can be part of all three of them or one of them. So if you haven't received that information, how to register yourself, please let me know, or Madhava Kumar Prabhu know, or any of the devotees that you know from ISKCON Manchester, let them know, and they will send you the invitation right away. And then you can be registered on the form. Also, one of the very important part of this program will be a quiz, very transcendental quiz on the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you can play online quiz. So that is also one of the very wonderful program. So program will be from 5 to 9 in the Sunday, 28th of March. So I request all of you to please join this program with a lot of enthusiasm. And to support that, this Sunday, we have a very special class given by His Grace Radha Vinod Prabhu on the topic of how to prepare our consciousness for Gaur Purnima. So we can very nicely develop our consciousness, get ready for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival. Also the following Friday also, the class will be on the same topic, how we receive Mahaprabhu in our life. So we can be ready on the Sunday. And Sunday, last but not least, we'll have a class from a very wonderful devotee, a guest speaker on the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So once it is decided, we'll come to know. So I thank you all very much for a kind and precious attention. That's it about me, Madhava Kumar Prabhu. If you have any other announcements, please make the announcements.
No, we're good, Prabhu. Thank you so much for just rounding everything up. Just wanted to thank everyone once again for taking the time to be with us. It's very encouraging for us as well to be able to continue to host these programs together. Thank you to the Pandava Sena. And Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Hari. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening and have a great weekend. Hare Krishna.